Hello, everybody. It's kind of my honor to do this today. Last year, we lost one of the biggest advocates of the technology education field, in Chuck Goodwin, 80 years old, Endicott, New York, passed away from complications following back surgery on Wednesday, May 14, 2025. He was at the Guthrie Lord's Hospital in Binghamton, New York. We want to review Chuck's accomplishments before we announce the establishment of a NYSTEEA something in his name, Charles U. Goodwin, known to all of us simply as Chuck. He lived a life defined by curiosity, generosity, and a deep commitment to education. He was born on February 2nd, 1945, in Cortland, New York, and grew up in a small rural hamlet of Baltimore, in the town of Preble. Later, his family moved to Elmira, where an important discovery shaped his young life. He discovered he could run, and not just run, but run with remarkable speed and endurance. And that kind of defined his whole life, as we hear later. Chuck began his teaching career in Worcester, New York, not Massachusetts, Worcester, New York, after graduating from Oswego in June 1967. Chuck was recruited to join the Union Endicott School District, and he spent the remainder of his teaching career at Union Endicott High School, where he transitioned from technology education curriculum from the traditional hands-on courses like woodworking, plastics, to courses with more theory and design elements, such as aerospace, electricity, electronics, and graphic design. Ultimately, his courses advanced to topics such as applied physics and the principles of engineering. Chuck was also at the same time a cross-country track coach at the high school, in addition to his teaching assignments, and his teams produced team-winning championships many years in a row. One of his most ambitious projects was the Union Endicott Solar Electric Car Project, which he established and advised. In 2003, the student team won 3 categories in the America Tour de Sol Rally, competing alongside high schools, colleges, universities, and even some industry competitors. It really was a tough competition. It was a remarkable achievement and a testimony to Chuck's belief that students could accomplish extraordinary things when challenged and supported. He was a recognized leader in NYSTEEA and ITA, serving as president of NYSTEEA in 1992, and for years as executive board chair and the New York State Department of Education liaison to ITA and ITA. He always could be counted on to provide reasoned and articulate advocacy for our profession. He was one of a select group of teachers who in 1989 began field testing the NYSTEEA Principles Engineering curriculum, marking the emergence of engineering as foundational to our field. He continued to advocate for the role technology education could play in conveying engineering concepts within secondary school education. Mike Hacker says Chuck was a profound influence on our field. He was someone who I called upon many times over the years for guidance and suggestions. I owe Chuck a personal debt of gratitude for his participation in the validation committee for my PhD. He spent many hours discussing and helping me access the relative importance of key ideas that should comprise graduate level technological literacy. Chuck's devotion to our profession, combined with his unique set of interpersonal skills, enabled him to successfully organize and lead the New York State STEM Collaborative, that initiative that brought together diverse, influential stakeholders together as advocates for the central role of tech ed and STEM education. Frank Roma, who worked with Chuck for many years on the STEM Collaborative, says whenever Chuck had a presentation, he'd be working on his PowerPoint right up to the last minute. not because he procrastinated, but because he wanted it perfect. Anything Chuck was involved in, he aimed to make it complete and perfect. Many times I told him the presentation looked good, but that didn't stop the further revision. Sometimes you can learn more from what a person does than what he says. He was always prepared. Chuck was a consistent and principled advocate for the adoption of the revised standards for technological and engineering literacy as the foundation for technology and engineering education curriculum and instruction in New York State. He actively engaged NYSTEEA officials in sustained dialogue and authored numerous letters in articulating the importance of his work. Chuck has helped establish the Center for Technology Innovation in Binghamton, New York. And at last year's conference, many of these conference attendees had a chance to visit the museum, visit Chuck's solar car, which is on display there. And you also had a chance to sign a get well card to him also. Unfortunately, it didn't work out the way we wanted to. In addition, he worked tirelessly to encourage NYSTEEA and members of the Board of Regents to reconsider the policy change that replaced the middle school technology education mandate with a career and technical education requirement, consistently emphasizing the additional value and distinct role of technology education. Chuck's career in technology education was marked by numerous state and national awards, recognizing his excellence as a teacher, leader, and contributor to the profession, including New York State Technology Education Teacher of the Year, Distinguished Technology Educator recognition from ITEA, Professional Society Awards, and a Lifetime Achievement Honor and Distinguished Alumni Distinction. NYSTEEA is now soliciting ideas from members on what type of award should be established in Chuck's name. People can speak to Matt, the NYSTEEA president, at the conference, or by email, and a suggestion box at the sign-in table. Thank you very much. Chuck will be missed.